two powerful blonde titans of their respective universes. In one corner we have Thor Odinson, Prince of Asgard and God of Thunder, and usual member as one of the Earth's mightiest heroes. And in the other we have Toshinari Yagi, or All Might, #1 hero in the world, and symbol of peace for all of those who inhabit it. They are both pillars of power and hope in their respective universe and settings, but who would win if they were to come to blows? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. Let's begin. Now in this specific versus battle, I will be using the Earth Mightiest Heroes version of Odinson, because one, I made a poll, you guys decided on it, but you should totally subscribe and go vote on some of them, they're pretty fun. And two, obviously using comic story would be a blowout in his favor. Anyways, starting with All Might. He is a pretty powerful hero, utilizing the quirk and power one for all. He can channel energy throughout his body to do some pretty gnarly things, such as decimating whole city blocks during his clash with All for One, punching normals so hard he rockets through the sky, and changing the weather with his bare fist. Now it is commonly thought and perceived that All Might is mountain level, through direct scaling within his verse. Prime example being the villain Gigantomachia, who destroyed a large portion of a mountain during a battle, and even then was still a servant to a more powerful All for One, who All Might beat twice, which All for One himself has an air cannon combination quirk powerful enough to level cities at full blast. And not to mention his most powerful attack, the United States of Smash, which he did too while heavily weakened, but was calculated to be town through small city level, so All Might should comfortably be around large mountain tier. Pretty crazy, right? Now moving on to the other blonde we have, Thor. Now the Prince of Asgard is a bit of a special case, because not only does he usually fight with a weapon that increases his AP and striking strength, but he also uses and amps himself with lightning. But looking at some of his feats, he's no slouch, such as completely stopping and overpowering an amp punch from Abomination, who also fought Hulk and was winning, clashing with Frost Giant so hard that it produces shockwaves that destroyed nearby surrounding area, and slowing down a huge portion of Manhattan that Gravitron flew up into the air and dropped. He also damaged and hurt him, who himself was strong enough to fight against the entire Avengers and survive a God Blast like attack from Thor, which said attack was able to completely destroy and vape a huge part of Manhattan as seen here, which in and of itself was calculated to be around large town through city level, so around the same level as All Might's ultimate move. But Thor's best feat of raw power and strength was when he brought Galactus himself to his knees twice, once using his weather manipulation, lightning, and the other using Mjolnir. And Galactus should be around Planetary Plus bare minimum in terms of power, as he is shown being able to destroy the Skrull homeworld using nothing but his pure power. But based off the actual explosion and blast radius, as you can see here, is pretty large, was calculated to be around dwarf star levels of energy. While yeah, that's a highball, but overall, while they are very similar in some aspects in attack potency, I feel with Mjolnir and his other powers, Thor wins this category, as he has shown higher highs, albeit not consistent, as most beings in fiction go, even All Might himself sometimes. Starting with Thor this time in this category. While not slow, Thor isn't exactly known for his outstanding speed, at least combat-wise. He has really good flight and reaction speeds, such as flying from ground to orbit in 5 seconds, dodging rockets close range after it's been fired, among other feats like that. He should be around hypersonic. Meanwhile, in All Might's corner, he's pretty fast, not only just in verse, but for his tier, such as he's seen here blitzing fodder villains, or being a blur to Deku and Bakugo. But his greatest on-screen speed feat is speeding across 5 kilometers or 3 miles in 30 seconds, which is about half the speed of sound. But through scaling, through Deku using All for One, same ability he has, and directly comparing his power to All Might's, or All for One, who is roughly equals to All Might, you can get him to supersonic or at max highball hypersonic, which is 5 times the speed of sound, which isn't just reaction or travel speeds. He can fight at those speeds, even if just in short bursts, which allows All Might to win this round. Now here, I think they are very similar in this category at first glance, both being able to take hits and tank attacks from top tier individuals in their own verse, such as All For One, Nomu, this attack here that All Might tanks, large scale Bakugo Blast, among others. And same goes for Thor in his corner, like attacks from Hulk, attacks from Loki that was amped by dark magic, Abomination, who is usually Hulk level, was stronger here, having his gravity be increased 1,000 times over. A huge orbital slam from Vision. That he was fine and literally was on top and had Vision pinned by the time the dust settled, mind you, etc. But honestly, if I had to give the point to someone here, it would have to be Thor, because of the two feats I haven't mentioned yet. The first being when Gravitron lifted a part of New York and Thor tried to slow it down. He was also pinned under all that weight, underwater too, and he got out just fine. And the second feat being the time he tanked, or more so got hit and was relatively fine, a blast that has shown
the blast radius is the entire planet, Wasp. Evacuation isn't an option.
As you just seen there, that had a blast radius and was expected to blow the entire Earth up. So taking high-end feats and just overall, I feel Thor definitely has the advantage. Combat intelligence. Now maybe I need to look more into them, but for either of them, I really didn't get the impression that they were super analytical. Not to say they were dumb or like not impressive in this regard, but not anything super duper impressive or stand outish, if you know what I mean. That being said, since I don't want to have a tie, I would have to back All Might for sure. Not only for the fact that he went through a modern education and program slash school specifically made for heroes with combat classes from many different veterans in the field and powers and situations like that, but All Might has been shown to be the best of them, and for the fact that he had like 40 plus years of experience on the job with all different kinds of situations. But honestly too, that point might be moot, because Thor should be at least a couple hundred years old with same kind of experience in fields and different situations. So yeah, that second point is moot, but the first point still stands. So I think I would have to give this to All Might. For this skill category, I feel the opposite from the last round. I feel Thor has an advantage over All Might here. I never got the impression that All Might was super skilled in direct hand-to-hand combat or weapon combat. He's more of a grappler or brawler fight style wise, mainly using punches, slaps, wind blasts, etc. Nothing too crazy. He just uses his good combat intelligence to leverage his abilities better. Meanwhile, in Thor's corner, I feel his skill and mastery in using Mjolnir is what really carries him to victory here. Mind you, Thor is also a brawler, but he definitely portrays skill where it matters here. Now this one might be a little unfair because only one person here has any gear or gadgets, in which that would be obviously be Thor and not All Might. But yeah, Thor with Mjolnir auto wins this category because All Might just doesn't use any gear or notable gadgets. But while we're here, I just want to say like how many random one-off powers they gave Thor slash Mjolnir in this, such as shield creation, the ability to open portals, create sonic winds, etc. Now the final score comes out to be about 4 points for Thor and 2 for All Might, leaving the Son of Odin as the victor of this battle. But if I were to hypothesize how a fight would go down between the two, it would go a little something like this. The battle starts and All Might is first to attack and connect, being as he has a better overall speed. And after landing a couple hits and knocking Thor around, Thor sees that he's a little too fast to get reliable hits on. So I feel like the Prince of Asgard will go into more of a AoE attack mode, which mind you, All Might wouldn't really have a counter to. Such as this attack here, how he can send out chain links of lightning that go pretty fast, showing satellites across the globe. Or since Thor doesn't always need Mjolnir in this version of Fly, he can just conjure up a lightning storm as seen here and keep smiting All Might or smiting the ground, forcing him to be distracted and dodge. And while he's distracted, he can throw Mjolnir to try and land a hit, which All Might wouldn't be able to take too many of. Or if he really wanted to, he could just nuke the battlefield using a God Blast like attack he used before. And overall, I feel like this version of Thor just takes it mid-diff at worst. But anyways, those are just my thoughts on it. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? Did I leave something out or not do something justice? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.